Hey, how's it going? Here, look at some signs for a moment, please. So, I'm doing this early today because of the way the day's been going so far. So I woke up and everything was fine, I guess. Except my cat wasn't in the house, which is strange. Although I guess I woke up a little late for his feeding. I woke up at about 7. And usually I'll go and do the things that I know will attract him to the house. Like I'll put something in my diffuser and have the door open, and that usually gets him back. Or I have a little code that I tap on the glass that will get him to come running. Good grief. And so but this morning, I didn't do that because I was kind of irritated. Where is he? He knows. See, this is why it's irritating, because I can go ahead and he has dry food that's out all the time, and I give him wet food twice a day. So if I put that food out there and it sits too long, he won't eat it. So I was irritated because I wanted to put it out so it could become room temperature because it's been in the refrigerator, but I didn't want it to sit out forever. And I felt myself start to get irritated. And I was like, no, let's not start the day this way. And I just did my other normal morning stuff and went outside and meditated for a while, which was helpful. But then I came in the house, mood adjusted and everything, and clicked open Twitter on my phone, and I noticed, because I wanted to say something, I wanted to tweet something, and I noticed right away I could not find the blue circle with the plus in it on my home screen like it would normally be. And I was like, what are they doing over there now? Why does he think that all of this disruption is good for anybody? Okay, I'm not going to go into a whole rant about Twitter and all of that, but it was just irritating. And then I looked around a little more, or I just moved to my profile page, and there it was. And that's not normal. It wasn't like that yesterday. So, but since Twitter's been under new ownership, it's a sketch. You don't know what the hell is going to happen from day to day. And at first, stuff would change and I would just kind of freak out. But then after the little while that this has been happening, I saw that it's like they're testing it or something, because stuff will come back or go back the way it was. So I had that in mind, but still irritating. Why do you have to keep screwing with it? And why are you so bad at it? When the previous owner had it and they were going to change something, they let you know this is going to happen. And they would ask you, do you want this? And it kind of was based on a consensus. What the hell? Why did you... My fan shut off. Anyway, it was just a different situation, and I feel like it just wasn't as abrupt and as much of a jolt the way that it had been done in the past. And I realize it's not the same person. This guy has a different technique for running his business, but I'm just talking about surface stuff with Twitter. There's a lot of stuff about it that affects it now that I don't directly interact with. There's lots of parts of Twitter I don't directly interact with, and that's fine. I like my little portion of it. But I just don't like the way it keeps changing, and it's not going to make it. I feel like it's, well, okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about all that. It's just irritating, okay? Like, I guess I don't like change. I don't like change either. I realize it's going to happen. I realize it has to happen. Hold on. My fan keeps shutting off. Okay. So, that was my fan shutting off again, and that's because it was like coming unplugged the way that I had the cord, because everything is kind of slapdash and Mickey Mouse and monkey rigged here. I actually have my phone on a tripod today, but so irritating. I had to stop. I had to fix it. And the reason why, it was, one, irritating because the fan kept shutting off, and two, irritating because right now, even though it's like working out, I am not positioned where I want to be because my poor kitty got scared by lawnmower sounds outside and is sitting behind me where I would ideally be sitting. But, like I said, this is fine. This is working. And I bet you're thinking, why the hell is she complaining? I am not just here complaining. There's a point. So anyway, I don't want to be irritated. I don't want to be irritable. It doesn't feel good. And the other thing about it is that it's particularly bad today, this morning, I guess, that I woke up and I'm just like so ready to tip into anger almost, like it's not quite to that degree, but if I like pass a certain marker, it could go to the point where I get mad, and then if I don't get myself under control, I will lose hold of things, and I have to go all the way into getting all mad and stupid for a while, and then have to go through all of that crap and settle back down again. So I don't want to do all of that. It's been a roller coaster for me, just emotionally the past week or so, and I know what it is. There's like astrological transits that are happening that are affecting me, and not just me, of course, everybody, but that doesn't make it like I'm not at the point in my spiritual mission that I'm able to just step back from this. Like, I obviously still have some work to do with hair trigger anger, so I am. And I also know that, things don't necessarily have to stay irritating and angry. And that's why I said it's a roller coaster, because I can go from being all irritated and like concerned that I'm gonna get past irritation to all of a sudden like, yay, happy, woo, so cool. And I know I'm not bipolar. So it's almost like, it feels like it's happening. It's like an accelerated program. Like, hurry up and get this settled so we can move on to the next thing, because it's not going to get less irritating as things go forward. It's not going to get less wonderful either. So I guess dealing with finding a comfortable and operable middle ground for my emotions. And so that is why I'm explaining all of the things that are irritating today. But that's fine. It's like part of life. And so I pulled cards, and the first card I pulled, oh no, get off of there, was from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and it was number 34, Lay of the Land. So this was like the right card. I pulled that like after I got up and was all already irritated and things. And it was so apt because the way to sort of getting these out of control emotions under control for me is to apply like everything that I've learned, like breathing and meditation and, reminding myself to stay in the here and now. And because, you get upset and then you start thinking stuff, and then you can just go, just like your anger can get away from you, like your sensibility, your sense can get away from you. It's like a loss of control when you get angry, and then it's like once you start doing one thing you feel like you feel like you shouldn't be doing, it's not that difficult to just start doing more stuff in that direction. That if you were like in a better state of mind, if I were in a better state of mind, I would be less easily drawn to that type of emotional activity. And what you do is you call upon your reserves, which, the card says ancestral wisdom. Calling upon your reserves, for me, is consulting your Akash. Or, I don't know, consult is the right word, because it's not that, it's very reactionary still for me, but I feel like when I can reach deep down inside of myself, that's where I'm reaching down into, is the Akash, and it's a place where I can find a version of me that doesn't react this way. And the more times that I get the way I was, like I was saying earlier, like irritable and, like could tip over into, could be unfortunate very easily, the intent to not do that will kind of automatically move me to a space where I can sort of access those Akash experiences where stuff happened, maybe like way worse stuff, and you just overcome the adversity coming at you and what you're brewing up inside yourself, because that's adversarial too. Like, that's why I don't want to get as irritated as I do or can do, or at all. It's not a good look, like, it's not attractive, it's not magnetic, it's repulsive, actually. So it's better, and I am getting better at it, to get a grip and get a hold of myself and say, stay in the here and now. Let yourself drift to a space in your mind that leads to calm. And that, I don't know, for me, being calmed as opposed to being angry or scared or anything like that, calm makes it easier to flow. I mean, or if you're calm when all hell's breaking loose, then you're not useless in adding to the situations. There has to be something or someone calm in situations like that, so stuff just doesn't go straight to hell. So, like I said, it's kind of been like this for a week or so, where I'm just like, ooh, I'm up, ooh, I'm down, and I'm going to focus now on the good things. It's been an awesome kind of couple of weeks. I've had some good experiences online, made some new friends, and that's always interesting and fulfilling. And I'm getting more of that happening, where I have people following, and I said this before, that are following me because they want to be there, and it's not just another hash mark on their follower belt, and that's why I don't want like a whole gang of followers. I realize that I can't talk to like all 500 people, but I would like at some point to interact with the person. And what I do when someone follows me, always, every time, is go straight to their feed and see what they're about, see what they're saying, see what they're posting. And I really wish people would do that with me, because I know that a lot of times I post stuff that's just pleasing to look at, but sometimes I'll start talking and I know it puts people off. And there was a time where I was just it was all like, oh, it's me, I'm bad, I did this. And it's not that necessarily, or in most cases at all. What it is a lot of times is you will say something that will, yay, trigger someone. Trigger is so loaded these days, but just as a definition, that's the word I want to go with. So, I just, like, I need a seatbelt in my roller coaster, and it's got to come from inside of me. It's got to be like a metaphorical seatbelt, because yeah, there's no tangibility. We're not talking solid stuff here, but powerful. I mean, that's makes an impression on me, that something that you can't hold and touch can be powerful. But I also know of many other states where that is the case, like like ghost stuff, or any kind of sort of visitation that can happen to you. And I'm not a person that never believed in ghosts. I've always believed, and even as a kid, I used to wander around in my house. This one place where I lived with my mom, and it was owned by others of our family. Like, it was owned by her aunt, I think. Yeah, her aunt. And she lived there, that aunt, who was my great aunt, and I spent tons of time with her. I really loved her. My maternal grandmother didn't live with us, so she was sort of the substitute. And then my other grandmother, I spent plenty of time with at their house. But it was me and my mom, and then that great aunt of mine, and then above her was her daughter, and then next door to her and above us was her son, my mom's cousin, and my cousin. So basically, I could just wander around the house, and on days everybody worked pretty much, except for my uncle's wife would be home. But otherwise, I had a free run of all of the 4 apartments. Like, the doors from the back were not locked, so I could just wander and nobody cared. But I would go to, like, my great aunt's apartment, or like up to her daughter's, my cousin's apartment, and just sort of walk around in there. And you know what I would be walking around doing? Looking for ghosts. Of course, I had no idea. Oh, maybe I did have an idea, because I was a child, and you know different stuff when you're a child. You grow up and you get filled with all of this other stuff that kind of diverges from that innocent purity. But I just always had like a notion that there was something else going on, and it's stuff you can't see and you can't look at, or you can look at it, but it might not show itself to everyone. It might not show itself to you for a while or at all, but you might feel it. It's just there's stuff like that in the world that's just not something solid that you can take hold of. And in the world of adults, that sort of adults, I scoff. Because some of the adults are acting like just over-sugared, bratty children, and it's embarrassing. But I mean, I can understand it, because not everyone is approaching how they react to things that are making them reactive the same way. Like, they're not going to look at what's upsetting them and also, like, take it inward and go, wait, how am I contributing to the situation? And why is this so upsetting to me? Because whatever's upsetting me is not really the fault of what's upsetting me. It's my reaction to it upsetting me. And then I know that it's not the fault of anyone or against anyone else, so I can't really, like, get mad and spit it out at other people. Like, I know that now. I used to, because I didn't know better. And I think a lot of people now just kind of are not aware of these things on a very conscious level, and that contributes to not giving a crap about the situation or other people or how you appear. And we are all connected, and that's not necessarily something that we can see and touch, but it is definitely there. Like, if a stranger on a television that you have never met and you probably never will met can get your blood boiling, they are connecting with you. That's what it is. That's how it works. So, like I said, that this feeling is, if you don't have the tools that I have to calm yourself and sort of understand the situation, you feel crazy and you don't know what to do. And then there's other people that they don't necessarily approach stuff the way I'm saying that I do, but they're not upset by things as much because they just don't deal with it. Like, they have some kind of like inner sense that says, maybe just don't go there. Don't pay attention to the politics. Don't pay attention to the whatever it is, like in the social sphere that everybody else is freaking out about. They're more concerned with like what's good that's happening, and that is something I really love about Twitter. I have a lot of people on there that are that way. So I pulled from the Animal Spirit Guide, I pulled the Cosmic Egg card. And if you look at it, you can see the egg, which would be a representation of the world. And it's colorful, and it's, they're almost in motion, And the snake around it is sort of like a great spirit wrapping us in a hug, like a dog that's scared of fireworks has to have one of those thunder jackets to calm them. Like, that's like spirit wrapping itself around this turbulent world that's full of like happiness and colors, but also some darkness. But that's not the ruling factor. It just looks that way because that's where we're looking. Like, we could maybe learn a lot from the people that don't pay attention to this stuff. It's a good way to like keep from losing your marbles and raising your blood pressure and acting out and getting your crap on other people. Like, it's taken a long time to get to a place where I can be philosophical about these things. And I definitely was like, I have to figure out how to like not upset myself like this, because there's heart disease in my family. I take better care of myself than my family members have. Like, I eat way more, I always have more vegetables, fresh ones, and not, I just have less fried stuff, like less gravy. Good stuff that I really like, but I know that I'd be 3 times the size I am if I indulged in it on top of my sweet tooth. It would just be ridiculous. Why did I go there? Now I lost my track. But I believe I was making a point about sort of learning how to contain ourselves, and this is like the model of spirit containing ourselves, and it's kind of instructive to me because, like I said, I'm not afraid of snakes, first of all. And snakes have more than just like especially for people that fear them, just the idea of the snake or the shark or the alligator or whatever it is with teeth and claws that scares you. This is something else. This is a symbol. So there are many ancient serpent symbology I can't grab the word. Schools of thought, I guess, that have the serpent, like ancient civilizations, ancient cultures that revered snakes for various reasons, because in different places, you're going to make different associations just because of your surroundings, you know. And I'm not going to explain all of that. I mean, you know how weather works and how places are desert and places are ice, and you know what I'm saying? So they would have different interpretations of their snake spirit, maybe even God. I don't know if that's true in all cases, but it's generally a pretty high up, pretty powerful symbol in their spiritual pantheons. So it's like a powerful image for me, especially today where I'm like, I need a snake rap a little bit, like every once in a while, like between up moments and grrr moments. But generally, things are good. Like, I cannot complain. There is not a war happening where I am. I am fortunate enough to live indoors, although it has been at the cost of my health. I mean, I can still function. I can say that probably for the first time in my life, with just the outer parts of it, like the practical things, like the where you live and getting your expenses taken care of. Like, I can always use like a little bit more scratch, but I'm good, you know, because you know the money only goes so far every month, and that's not just with me. So I'm not all like, oh my God, it's so terrible. And while I have to wait until the next time I get paid and have money again, I'm not in dire straits. I'm not suffering. So, you know, waking up and being a little bit irritable. Ooh, my God, so terrible, but not really. Like, I really have nothing to complain about on that level if I think about the plight of other people in the world. Because there's people that there's a lot of talk about child trafficking and human slavery, and I'm not discounting that at all. I think that it exists on a far larger scale than people want to let themselves believe. And I know, like, there are places that are at war, and it's not just Ukraine. It's, if you like go online and start looking where the U.S. is in other places than U.S. or U.S. territories, and they're in sort of a military situation, or there's like hostilities that they're involved in, or we are involved in, those places are probably not as well off as I am right now, so I really can't complain. I'm highly conscious of that. Like, I'm so glad that I have the life that I have right now, and it's, you know, allowed me to settle into a calm and a security and a relaxation that, boy, I sure didn't have it the years I worked, because I was constantly worried, like, am I going to lose my job? Am I going to quit this piece of crap job? Because I had a bunch of those. It was just a very unstable situation. But now I sort of associate it with my youth, because I think that in general is unstable and erratic and fun yet scary. But I've always been, well, I've been so lucky. I have protection, and I am so grateful for it. Thank you. I've almost died like so many times in my life, and I'm glad I didn't. I didn't want to. And that's something to be grateful for, like making it through to the next day. So I'm actually glad I got in here and did this early. I do have a lot of crap to do in the house, but I need to go out as well. So the reason why I usually wait is so I'll pull the cards first and then like just look at them and just leave them stew, marinate for the rest of the day until I have the events of the day happen, and that kind of shapes what I'm going to say. But boy, I woke up with a mouthful today, didn't I? And that's it. Thank you and good morning.